So I'd like to welcome you all. Welcome everyone to UConn downtown, UConn Waterbury, which is located very conveniently in the center of the universe. And here we are. And one of the beauties of today is that probably 80% of all you who are here today have never seen this beautiful courtyard at UConn downtown and been able to appreciate just what a valuable asset UConn is to Waterbury. Kathy and I are honored to serve as the co-chairs of this evening's reception in honor of our beloved mayor, Neil O'Leary. And we want to thank all of you for turning out in force to celebrate Neil's 12 years of all-in service as mayor. Okay, now I know we have everybody's undivided attention, but I won't start over. I just want to say thank you again to all of you for being here to celebrate Neil's amazing tenure for 12 years and all his service to us as our mayor. I think we should open our celebration with a blessing from His Excellency Archbishop Leonard P. Blair, whose tenure as Archbishop of Hartford has overlapped Neil's mayoralty. Their extraordinary relationship has produced mutually beneficial outcomes for both the church and the city. Welcome, Archbishop Blair.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be with all of you, with Mayor O'Leary, his family, friends, and associates, and in public life, to join all of you in celebrating and thanking him for his service to the city of Waterbury. The Catholic faith, in harmony with many religious communities, places a high priority on the common good, on the dignity and rights of the human person, on the importance of education and work, on the need for community engagement and the welfare of individuals and families. You know, mayors are often addressed as Your Honor, but that title only means something when it is earned every day through a life of service. From all that I know of Mayor O'Leary, he has indeed earned it, Your Honor. And it's only fitting that we acknowledge that and thank him for it and wish him well in all of his future endeavors. God bless you, Mayor O'Leary. And I've been asked to offer a prayer, which I'm happy to do. Let us pray. Lord God, Heavenly Father, as we gather together this evening, we begin by thanking you for the gift of life, for our families, friends, and neighbors, for our civic and religious communities, and for all the gifts of nature and grace with which you bless us on our earthly pilgrimage. In a special way, you ask your blessing on Mayor O'Leary as he completes his service as Mayor of Waterbury, on his family, and all those who have assisted him over the years in fulfilling the responsibilities entrusted to him for the common good. We ask you to grant that the citizens of Waterbury and our whole state may enjoy justice, peace, and prosperity based on fidelity to your law and your will. Hear our prayers for a change of heart that begins with each one of us, so that resisting every temptation to the contrary, we may truly live as brothers and sisters and work together for a human society built on mutual respect and love. May we always live not only with a view to the dreams and anxieties of this world, but also the world to come, where you live and reign forever and ever.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. God bless you, Mayor.
Thank you, Archbishop, thank you so much for all that you've done both in the Catholic community and in the community at large, especially as you're preparing for your own retirement next year. What brings us together today is our respect and appreciation for a man who has poured every ounce of his being into strengthening the city that he loves. for 12 transformational years as our mayor, following 30 years in the police department, including 5 as its chief. He literally gave himself to this community, intellectually, emotionally, viscerally, day after day, year after year. Neil O'Leary is the physical embodiment of the grit and determination that make Waterbury so resilient. We all witnessed firsthand our mayor's passion and his enduring commitment to uplifting the community and making it better for people to live and work here. He stepped into a challenging fiscal situation shortly after the great financial crisis. He put Waterbury on a sound fiscal and economic path and then guided us through the difficult pandemic days. He never flinched. He always saw and stressed the positive. To paraphrase Jim Collins in Good to Great, the mayor faced the brutal facts of our current reality without ever losing confidence in his or our ability to overcome our challenges. And the result has been a transformational change in Waterbury's condition that underpins our collective expectations for a bright future. So much so that Neil O'Leary may well be remembered not only as the longest successively serving mayor in Waterbury's history, but as Waterbury's best mayor ever. Waterbury's best mayor ever. And to everyone in attendance today, your outpouring of respect and affection for Neil, and your truly generous support for the Neil O'Leary Fund for Waterbury student success will change local lives for the better. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Before we begin a brief speaking program, please take a moment to scan the QR code in your program. So if everybody has a program, and the inside on the lower right is a QR code, and if you would scan that, you'll hear more about that from Kamiko after she makes her remarks later on. And in a minute, you're going to hear brief remarks from Kathy, State Senator Joan Hartley, U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal, Waterbury UConn Director Kamiko Heff, and UConn President Denko Merrick, followed by Governor Neil O'Leary, and then from the I should say Governor Ned Lamont, and then the, oh, you know what, oh, Neil, I'm sorry, I promised not to tell anyone. And then from the honoree himself, Neil O'Leary. But let us first take a moment to recognize our generous sponsors and the host committee.
It is with heartfelt thanks to our corporate sponsors, our host committee, and individual donors that we are ecstatic to announce our successful event tonight. We've raised over $400,000. I would like to identify our corporate sponsors first of all. Lazius Cadillac Chevrolet, Cigna Healthcare, Eversource Energy, Trinity Health New England, St. Mary's Hospital, Famiko Intega, Hoft, ONG Industries Incorporated, and Webster Bank. Thank you for your corporate sponsorship of $25,000. I would also like to thank the host committee, who generously donated $10,000 each. Albert Brothers and the Albert family, Kathy and Jim Smith, Antonucci Family Foundation, Chuck Pagano, the Dufour family, George Mowat, Norman Drubner, Jim and Joan Hartley, Hoffman BMW, Pullman and Connolly LLC, Shaker Auto Group, Tomaso Group, Waterbury Republican American, Works Group, and Yaman and Grant. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And also to every person that bought a ticket to support this event. The outpouring has just been unbelievable and unprecedented.
And we're very happy to say that every single person in this room tonight has a paid ticket. And so that everybody stepped up to support the Neil O'Leary Fund for Student Success. Thank you all for that. Again, a quick reminder, don't forget to scan the QR code so that you can be ready for Miko's remarks in a few minutes.
Today, we honor Neil O'Leary, a truly great mayor, a visionary, for 12 years of transformational leadership. This incredible turnout and unprecedented level of support is testament to his mayorship. I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to work with Neil O'Leary on many projects that have indelibly altered the landscape of Waterbury and improved the quality of life of this community. These initiatives have had a profound effect on every member of the city of Waterbury. There's no citizen in Waterbury that hasn't benefited from the initiatives that Neil's started and carried through. We will continue to benefit from his deep commitment in many years to come, because his work is not complete. There are still tens of millions of dollars in approved federal and state funds still in the pipeline, which will continue to propel our city forward. Neil has been a center of influence, assuming leadership roles in key organizations, locally, regionally, and statewide. He was the co-chair of the Intergovernmental Relations Commission, president of the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, chairman of the Naugatuck Valley COG, founder of Holy Land USA. His achievements are so numerous, he way well remembered as the best mayor Waterbury ever had. The long-lasting accomplishments of Neil O'Leary are difficult to summarize in brief remarks, but let me begin to name a few. Neil founded the new Police Activity League, a broader and more inclusive agency which has become a national model for partnerships between youth, law enforcement, and community. He created a campus in the north end of Waterbury, clearing blighted properties and remediating brownfields. He restored a school and created a first-class recreational center. The campus includes a boxing facility, playing fields, track, a working greenhouse, community gardens, and an educational resource and learning center. This initiative has improved lives, transformed a neighborhood, and galvanized the community. Known as the educational mayor, Neil certainly lived up to his title. He opened 3 new elementary schools and 1 new high school, the Waterbury Career Academy High School. He also worked closely with the Archdiocese of Hartford during a period of transition and consolidation. He was a champion in the acquisition and the conversion of St. Margaret's School to the Brass City Charter School. He most recently authorized and facilitated the relocation of Children's Community School to the former St. Joe's School. Capital improvements in infrastructure investment were paramount to Neil's administration. In 2014, the city was granted a Tiger Grant in the amount of $14,000 for roads, rails, and transit. This grant funded the restoration and reconfiguration of the Freight Street corridor. Neil has made improving neighborhoods and enhancing quality of life a cornerstone and a pillar of his tenure. His role in city parks is unprecedented. Waterbury has 31 parks, 2 golf courses, and a stadium. Every single property has been improved during Neil's tenure in his administration. Fulton Park, for example, our flagship Olmsted Park, listed on the National Historic Registry, was completely overhauled, warming huts, gazebos, trails, aquifers, all repaired and remodeled with historic accuracy. Library Park, our Olmsted Park, has undergone a multi-million-dollar restoration, and Neil committed $8 million to Hamilton Park, which is under construction at this time. Neil, this past year, opened 3 parks: Platt Park, Torado Park, and Riddick Velez Park. Phase 2 of the Greenway is under construction, connecting a 44-mile river trail from Trumbull to Torrington. Our green, our town center square from 1849, has been completely redone. Mayor O'Leary was a key player in the Park Place reconstruction and the Gaffney Place improvements. He redesigned East Main Street, corridors and streetscapes. He created a blight task force, invested in brownfield remediation, and created a Waterbury land bank. Thanks to Neil's financial acumen, the city of Waterbury has a balanced budget, an annual surplus, and an A+ bond rating. It wasn't that long ago when we required an oversight board. This month, the State Bonding Commission authorized $17 million package for 5 new projects in Waterbury, and the legacy continues. We're profoundly indebted to Mayor O'Leary for his vision, tenacity, and courage. We thank you for your leadership and your motivational inspiration. We will miss you, but we won't let you go far. I'd like to introduce Senator Joan Hartley.
Thank you, Kathy. Before I get going, I would just like to, first of all, recognize some of my colleagues and dignitaries who are also here with us today, those who probably won't be on the dais. And that is, of course, former speaker and currently board member of the UConn, otherwise sometimes known as the father of UConn, that is Tom Ritter. Also, we have in the House our current House Speaker, none other than Matt Ritter. Matt, I know you're here. And thanks so much for being with us. We have State Comptroller Sean Scanlon, a former colleague, but now our Comptroller. Sean, I know you're here. We have with us also Representative Paletta, Representative Pizzuto, Representative Zupkis, Representative D.G. Moncarlo, and Representative Napoli. So thanks all for being here for this very, very special day. So hey, what a celebration, huh? It's great, but it is bittersweet, we must admit. And I just want to say from the beginning, so I was told I have 2 minutes, and I could, I'm looking over here at Jen, and I'm saying, yeah, now really, 2 minutes, me, talking about a person who has served the city of Waterbury so tirelessly and exemplary for over 4 decades, and I have 2 minutes to talk about this. And I'm really kind of shaking in my shoes here because she's going to use that whistle on me, too. So I'm going to do my best. But let me just start by saying, whether it was Patrolman O'Leary on the beat out east, or it was Detective O'Leary, who, through his tenacity, was able to empower so many women and people who had been victims of sexual assault, and this continues today by virtue of him serving on the board of Jane Doe No More, or whether it was Police Chief O'Leary with his relentless leadership of the hundreds of men and women in blue, Waterbury's finest, who every day put their lives on the line for us, or as the Commissioner of Education. Neil didn't just want to make decisions about education, he wanted to know what it was all about. So he completely immersed himself, and he went on to the board of education. That's kind of a penance, but he didn't. And there he was able to listen and learn and understand our teachers, what our teachers go through every day, our administrators, but most importantly, our children and their families. And that's really the knowledge and the information that he was pursuing. And then, of course, as mayor, as Kathy talked about, he masterfully served this city with such devotion and passion for 12 years, leaving virtually no stone unturned, whether it was public safety, whether it was issues of public infrastructure, quality of life issues, economic development, education, lower education, higher education, workforce development. He completely engaged and tirelessly worked on all of these issues. And so I asked you, and Governor, have you ever heard of any other city that had a shovel brigade we've got a shovel brigade here. And what was that all about? That was Neil's vision during those terribly snowy times when school was shut down. Our seniors were shuttered. They didn't have the capacity to get themselves out of the house. And Neil put together the shovel brigade. Then we had the river brigade. The river, the Naugatuck River, had long been abandoned with tires and carts and litter and debris, and Neil put together a group of young, the summer work corps, who went out there and literally dredged the river. The river is beautiful now, and we have a park that's right along that area, and we celebrate that every day when we go there to visit. And then, of course, everybody knows about the incredible story of the police. It used to be athletic league, it is now activity league because it encompasses so much more. And yes, we are a national model, and we are asked often to come and talk about that, the mayor and the police chief. And the question always is, so what's the secret sauce? And it's 2 words, the answer: Neil O'Leary, the secret sauce. And so tonight, when you step out onto East Main Street, look right, look left, at virtually any corner in this city, and you will see some part of what the Neil O'Leary administration has done and developed. But I have to say, because I know Jen's looking at me, my 2 minutes are coming here. I'm pretty certain if you asked Neil what his greatest accomplishment was, what his life's work was, I'm pretty sure he'd say it's Patrick O'Leary and Maggie O'Leary. And of course now, the newest, the grandbaby I hear, the newest O'Leary, Isla Elizabeth O'Leary. I think that's what it would come down to for Neil. So Kathy, let me just say thank you so much for all of us collectively sharing the big guy with us. We appreciate that so much because it was great sacrifice. And Neil, Mr. Mayor, Godspeed on this next chapter. I wish you well, and we will miss you, but we know, as Kathy said, we're not letting you go far. Thank you.
Now I'd like to invite Senator Richard Blumenthal to the stage. U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal. Thank you, Jim. I want to begin, first of all, that 2 minutes was 2 minutes in United States Senate time. But thank you so much, Joan. And thank you to Kathy and Jim. Kathy and Jim Smith are really Waterbury heroes. And Jim's leadership throughout the state is renowned. I'm really here to celebrate Governor O'Leary. That has a very nice ring to it. I know he isn't doing it in the immediate future, Governor Watt. Somebody asked me whether I was going to speak tonight, and I said yes, and he said, well, good luck, break a leg. And I said, no, I've been there, done that. But I would gladly risk breaking a leg again for UConn winning another championship. Thank you, Madam President, for your leadership in so many areas, not just on the field, but also in the classroom. Neil's accomplishments have been really listed, and there's one point where I think all of us would agree, and that is the light of his life really is his family, Kathy, Maggie, Patrick, his family. It is so inspiring to see public officials who has his priorities straight, who has values that are right. I've been with Mayor O'Leary when he first started the then Police Athletic League, and I remember his sense of joy and pride taking me around
for the first time. I was Attorney General, former prosecutor. He was former cop. And his joy and pride in seeing these young people and the coaches and introducing me to them, and he knew their names and he knew where they were from. He really believes in people. There's an old saying that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Neil O'Leary is a guy who cares. He really cares deeply. And another memory that I have, every year I march in the St. Patrick's Day parade here, and the route takes us near the house where Mayor O'Leary grew up. And every year he points it out to me. He is a guy who lives and breathes Waterbury. You know, he loves this town. And everybody who lives here ought to appreciate that he is so committed to Waterbury. And I think that's reflected in all of the different accomplishments that you've heard tonight. He cares about how Waterbury looks, but he also cares about how healthy it is, and so he's devoted himself to brownfields and blighted areas. The Kinneytown Dam, most of you, I suspect, have never heard of it. It has been a prime interest of his. He's focused on it, talked to me about it, because it will determine whether fish can come up again the Naugatuck River. Seems like a small thing, but there's nothing too small for Mayor O'Leary to be concerned about. So I think, finally, I would just say, in a sense, this picture is worth 1,000 words. What we see here is so many different parts of the Waterbury community coming together. That's what Neil O'Leary has done, bring people together. And at a time of divisiveness and division, there is no better model of bringing people together, bridging differences, than Neil O'Leary. I just want to close, though, with a story, because I thought this was actually going to be a roast. I haven't heard any. You know, the story about the guy who goes through an evening like this one, and there are all kinds of applause and praise, and he gets into his car afterward next to his wife, and he says to her, "How many truly great people do you think there are in the United States of America?" And she says, "One less than you think, dear." Now, Neil has never been big-headed, but I know that his friends and his family will always keep him on an even track, and I am hoping that I will have a chance to continue to work with Neil O'Leary, one of the really great public servants in the state of Connecticut and in the nation. Thank you so much, Neil.
Senator, I just want to thank you. You know, he told the story about the Kinneytown Dam, but what he didn't tell was that he was the one that secured the funding and provided some of the heft that was needed in order to get things done there. And we are deeply appreciative to you because you always have Waterbury in your mind. You've been very thoughtful about us, and you've been a great asset to our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask Joan Hartley. Senator Hartley, if you would introduce Fumiko.
So, rock stars, they are few and far between, the real rock stars. And we in Waterbury are really blessed to have the newest rock star here amongst the Waterbury community, and specifically leading the UConn Waterbury branch. And that, of course, as Jim just mentioned, is Fumiko Hof. And yes, a big round of applause for Fumiko, please. So Fumiko just calling me big sister, and that couldn't be the greatest honor that I have had in forever. But I just want you to know about this young lady, and she is amazing in what she has accomplished, really, over her few years, and her energy and her vision are second to none, and so that in a very short time has manifested it here in the city of Waterbury. And I should just mention that she's walks softly but carries a lot of sway and clout. She's a prolific researcher, recognized nationally. She is the director of UConn's Brain Imaging Center, and she is one of the top researchers in the United States on brain functions, dyslexia, and brain development. And she comes to the University of Connecticut, and you do great recruiting. Madam President, a big bow to you for that, and also to the board and Mr. Ritter and yourself for bringing Famika to us. It is a blessing that I can't even describe to you. And previous, she was with Caltech, Stanford, and University of California. So you can see she is a rock star. Now the rock star, here she is.
Can you hear me? My speech was ready. I want to say two things before I start. I did practice my speech, but I did not practice it under the influence, so we'll see how it goes. And then the second, hopefully we'll try to stick with the UConn Waterbury time instead of the US Senate time, so we'll see. And well, I have the third thing is, I was given 5 minutes just for the record, not 2 minutes, so please give me some leverage here. All right, so thank you, State Senator Joan Hurtley, for the introduction, and the esteemed guests for being here tonight to celebrate our beloved mayor's upcoming retirement. I would also like to thank the event co-chairs Jim and Kathy Smith, sponsors the city and the UConn Foundation, for bringing this event to life. As we celebrate the mayor's retirement, it is my privilege to highlight some achievements at UConn Waterbury, all underpinned by the mayor's unwavering support and encouragement to strive for excellence for our students. And this is what led the former Speaker of the House and Board of Trustee member Tom Ritter, a true catalyst behind this event, to suggest establishing a Mayor Neil M. O'Leary Fund for Waterbury student success. Believe it or not, I practiced it like 100 times, but it is a tongue twister if you tried it. If you say it 10 times within 30 seconds, and if you manage, let me know and I'll give you a UConn merch before you leave. This newly established fund will be used to help current and future UConn students coming from the city gain life transformative experiences and fulfill their higher education goals. Without these support programs, many of our Waterbury students, where 60% are first-gen students and 80% receive some aid, will struggle to go through school. Research shows that only 10% of first-gen students from low-income backgrounds make it. While our students, almost 60% of our students graduate, which is beating the odds on its own, using this fund, our goal is to reach our North Star of 90%. We will get there. Here's some examples of the mayor's many accomplishments at UConn Waterbury, where his vision for educational accessibility and student success permeates throughout. Although numeric rankings are not the be-all and end-all, they provide a frame of reference for efforts and impact. It is with immeasurable pride that we are nationally ranked. UConn Waterbury is ranked at number 12 in the nation for return on investment of all four-year public universities. We are also ranked number 23 for economic mobility in the United States among all higher ed institutions, so now including private institutions as well, and number 1 in Connecticut for our accelerated nursing program. These achievements, under the compassionate leadership of our previous campus directors, Fran Brennan and Bill Pizzuto, I know Bill is here at least, staff and faculty recognize the affordable, high-quality education that we deliver to our students right here in the city of Waterbury. Another initiative that we started in partnership with the city, Waterbury Public Schools, and the Northwest Regional Workforce Investment Board, and with generous endowment from the Reed family, that's the video from the event, is the annual Wish Fest. Wish Fest promotes innovation, sustainability, and health, and provides a forum for Waterbury students to dream of attending college, their career, and their future. We invite all of you to attend Wish Fest next April, and I promise I won't solicit funds, but if you do donate, I will never say no. To tackle food insecurity on our campus, we initiated a food pantry called Husky Harvest with support from Connecticut Food Share, BJ's, the Provost Office, among others. Also, students can now purchase warm and healthy meals for $5 from the Spirit Cafe on our campus. It is less than half the price of dining plans that other universities provide. We launched 2 Vital Student Support Centers, we expanded the Career Development Center, and we tripled the Federal Work Study program that provides jobs on our campus and our local nonprofits. In addition, we have been successful in securing over $15 million in grants this past year from USDA, NIH, Synchrony, and soon the Department of Education, Connecticut Community Foundation, and Teaching X. And we will have another $10 million grants pending from NSF if I don't drink too much tonight and don't party too much tonight. New projects on the horizon include the entrepreneurship program for social good called the Ideas Plus Impact. And we also started the Walkberry, which is a partnership with the chambers and the local businesses, a program that encourages over 1,500 of our students, OLLI members, and staff to venture out downtown. Most significantly, thanks to the committed support from the mayor, the governor, Tom Ritter, President Radenka Merrick, and many others, we have started the renovation of the Oddfellows Hall at 36 North Main Street. When it's completed in 2025, the hall will transform into an innovation hub of 26,000 square feet, fostering training in healthcare, research, ideation, community-driven creativity. This building, which is so important to our campus, the campus's future, never would have been possible without the support from the dogged dedication of the mayor. First proposed by Tom, and in discussions with Lyle Forster, Joe Germondo, and the president, we thought it only fitting that it be named the Neil M. O'Leary Building. Tonight, we officially announce the name of the historic hall in honor of the mayor. These collective efforts are not for UConn alone. They nurture the vitality of our city, our region, and the dreams of our students. Even though I know many of you have already given a substantial gift, and we are so grateful for that, thank you. I invite you tonight to make a life-changing pledge if you have additional capacity, to scan that QR code in front of you. I hope you see it. And you do have permission to multitask right now, so that we can together transform student lives and reshape their future and ours. Your contribution will be matched dollar for dollar. Lastly, on a personal note, Neil, it has been a great pleasure to work with you. My only regret is that I only had a year and a half with you. Despite your crazy schedule, you're always there to listen, and you never miss a chance to appreciate all around you, and checking to make sure I am safe when I'm wandering around the city taking conference calls, and I often do that, and not in these high heels though, in sneakers. And make a newcomer like me feel that I'm part of the Waterbury family. You have truly been a tour de force and change maker with your forward-thinking vision. I will miss our 5 a.m. and 11 p.m. text messages, but I know you will keep advocating for us all, so thank you very much, Neil. Appreciation, it is now my pleasure to introduce UConn President Radenka Merrick, a steadfast advocate of all students, whose tireless travel to Waterbury attests to her dedication to her community. Radenka.
No, I have my notes, but I'm not going to read because this is such a special person that you cannot write about that person. It's like, telling the poem when you think about the poem. So, can somebody listen again? I love it. Okay. So I'm president of UConn, so I need attention. But we are not tonight here to listen president of UConn. I want to tell the story of amazing fellow. I call him Neil, and he calls me Radenka. And from the moment that I was appointed as an interim president, Tom Reader says you have to make an amazing person because he wants to make a difference like you want. And I says, yeah, I will meet that person, but I start working from 5 a.m. Is he available at 5 a.m.? And he says, Madam President, I'm available 5 a.m. So there are few people in this room that start the day from 5 a.m. and the mayor is one of them. His heart, his passion, his commitment to this community is contagious. So I tested him at the beginning. I says, maybe he wakes up few mornings at 5 a.m. and he's talking about big picture. So I said, in the next meeting, can you bring 12 CEOs who are going to support Waterbury and development? He says, yes. We had meeting after 2 weeks. There are 24 CEOs in the room. I says, now I really have to think how to bring the best person that I recruited at UConn to this Waterbury campus. And I says, because I care about this community, I believe in this community. As an immigrant to this country, I appreciate everything that this country has given to me, and I want to give to this community. So I said the best person that I recruited in my time at UConn is Fumika Hoff. She's not only nationally renowned medical doctor and PhD, she's world-renowned expert in dyslexia. She sits with queens and kings and they ask for her advice. And I says, this queen has to come to Waterbury and lead this campus. So, if you want to win, you have to make A+ team. And Mayor, Fumika, Tom Reader, and many of you who support us, you are team players. Governor Lamont, you have your job, you are doing a fabulous job, and we are going to make a difference. So Governor Lamont, stage is yours. Thank you all.
Thank you, Radenka. You look good in Barbie pink. And by the way, Governor O'Leary and myself would like to recognize another governor who's here, John Rowland. John, it's good to see you. Fumika, you get a lot done in a year and a half. You're going to have to keep going. I want to see the same thing for the next year and a half and a year and a half after that. This campus is going gangbusters, more students here than ever before. Thanks to you, what a difference you're making. And I didn't know you got up at 5 a.m., Neil. When I need a little counsel and things are getting kind of complicated out there, I got to tell you, Neil is one of the first people I reach out to. Usually we're on the treadmill at about 6:30, to tell you the truth. We're really exciting guys on a Saturday night. And I say, Neil, turn off Morning Joe. I got something I got to talk to you about. And Neil goes, want to come visit the Police Activity League again? No, I was there last week, Neil, but thank you. I want to get there again as soon as I can. But you've heard the list of accomplishments from Kathy and Joan and others. I think, don't underestimate, I think, what Neil has meant, for this town and for this state. He is such a champion for Waterbury. I love the optimism. And optimism is contagious. And Neil, you have that optimism, and you have the friends, and nobody turns out like Waterbury. I've been to 169 towns a lot. Nobody has more spirit than Waterbury. And Waterbury believes. Waterbury has hope. And that's thanks to you, Neil. want to say that you've been such an extraordinary champion for this city and such a close friend for me. I just have one more mission I'd like you to consider, and I've talked to Rudenka and Tom about this. We have the UConn President's Council of Advisors. That's going to be champions for the University of Connecticut. That's going to be all the leading academics. I need people who tell the story about what UConn is doing. Why UConn was just ranked by Wall Street Journal as one of the top 10 public universities in the country. And it's a chance to talk a little bit about what we're doing academically. It's a chance to maybe go to a couple of great basketball games. It's a chance to get the business leaders from around the state more involved with UConn every day. And I can't think of anybody who would be a better champion or a better chairman for that than my friend Neil O'Leary. Will you do it, buddy? Will you do it? Without further ado, Neil, you got a lot of friends. You got a lot of friends and all your friends want to give you a hearty hello. Come on, Neil.
Wow, thank you everyone. Of course to Archbishop Blair and all the great folks who are here with us tonight, particularly Governor taking time out of your schedule, Senator Blumenthal, and you know, I have to just say, I had a speech, and I don't really like speeches, so I'm just going to talk to my heart because I think I do best doing that. I am really honored, of course, to be here with all of you. I can't even describe to you how it feels to be finishing up my 43rd year with the city. I enjoyed my time and am extremely proud of my service with the Waterbury Police Department. Chief Spagnolo is here tonight and other members of the police department. Chief Ballou is here tonight, representing the fire department and his command staff. My dad was a career fireman in Waterbury, and I got to tell you, he wasn't too happy with me when I decided to go to the PD. I was going to go to the PD for 3 years with my friend Mark Ouellette, who was here tonight. We had a pact that after 3 years we would leave and go to law school. I loved the job so much. Mark left and went to law school and is an attorney and doing really well. And I stayed, and I wouldn't trade a minute of it, not a single minute of it. And I have loved this city. I have loved each and every one of you. And we talk about how we get things done, building relationships, being nice to people, respectful and polite, and caring about families. And I have just loved every second of that. When we started the PAL program that you've heard about, there's over 4,000 children in PAL now. And think about that, 4,000 children in PAL, and think about all their siblings and family members that that organization impacts in this city every single day. And it is the top 5 PAL program in the United States of America. And we're pretty proud of that. But you know, when we talked about this event tonight, my dear friend Tom Ritter, and of course you heard that his son Matt is here, and you know, that's relationships and teamwork and respect and passion. And Tom has been a mentor of mine for a long time, and I turned to Tom when I was trying to figure out how we could get this UConn campus moving, particularly after COVID. And without his guidance and leadership, I have to tell you, we wouldn't be here, because without Governor Lamont and Tom, we wouldn't have Rudenka, my dear friend. I said, good morning, Dr. President Rudenka. My name is Rudenka. I said, I'll call you Rudenka. If you call me Neil, I'll call you Neil. And that's how we started off. And of course, we wouldn't have Shumiko if we didn't have Rudenka and Tom and the Board of Trustees. And my cohort in designing all of this UConn mission was Senator Joan Hartley And to her right is Gail Garber, who's been a huge supporter of the City of Waterbury UConn campus. And we don't forget our friends and our loyalty, because there were some tough times right before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID, and we were all a little nervous about what was happening over here. And Gail stood by us and stood by us strong. This team tonight to put this event together, I don't think it's a secret to any of you what Waterbury and this community mean to Jim and Kathy Smith and what they mean to me, and I can't thank them enough for the time and effort that's gone into this event. Thank you so much. And of course, the other team members, of course, are folks from my office, Judy and Jen and Allie and Mickey and David, and overseeing all of those phone calls, and with Jim and Kathy, of course, was our dear friend Tom Ritter. And then I also want to mention the elected officials that are here tonight. Joan did a great job, took me off the hook on that. One elected official who's not here with us tonight, unfortunately, is our president of our Board of Aldermen, and it's Paul Prunarowski. Why isn't Paul here? Because poor Paul is home in bed. He has tried to chair the Board of Aldermen meeting on Tuesday night, and we just had to get him home. He's got some viral something or other, and he's at the doctor's, and they gave him some medicine and told me he had to stay in bed for 72 hours. So he's in bed. So please say a prayer for him tonight. We got to get him back on his feet because there's work to do out there. Absolutely. And I'm so glad the governor recognized our former governor, John Rowland, because it was John Rowland who actually brought this UConn campus downtown Waterbury. And my heart goes out, and you know, we are so very happy in our family, and Kathy and Maggie and Dale are here, my brothers and sisters are here, and my little Isla, my 4-month little granddaughter, is in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm not happy about that. So we've been down there 4 times already since she was born, and she's only 4 months old. At the end of the day, that is what matters, right? To all of us. And I am so lucky to have such a great family, such great friends, such a great team, and to have the people of Waterbury who have supported us for the last 12 years in amazing ways at every juncture. You know, I think about not only the PAL program, and you saw a little bit, you will see a little bit of it, but one of the more fun events we did was this Holy Land. The cross on the top of the mountain, and Governor Lamont is familiar with the cross on the top of the mountain because prior to the latest cross, the governor actually put the cross before up because the cross before that had fallen down. It was just old and deteriorated, and the mountain went for sale, and I called up Fritz Blasius, who everybody calls when you need something, it's Fritz. And I said, Fritz, we really need to buy this mountain. I can't tell you exactly what he said in the beginning. I softened him up. But, you know, we did end up putting together a nonprofit, and Fritz and I went down to see the nuns in Morrisville, New Jersey, and the provincial nun she was just like something out of the movies. She sat there and she knows, oh, I know all about you two boys. And this is the price, and if you don't like it, too bad. We started laughing, and Fritz said, oh no, that's fine, sister, that's good. You're not gonna negotiate with me? No, he says, as a matter of fact, I'm a little scared of you. We had a great time with her the rest of the afternoon, and you know, the cross was perfect timing, 2013. You know, there was a lot going on. There's always a lot going on, and we all know that. But Joe Pisani stepped forward and built this 65-foot tall cross, 6 feet wide. I think it weighs 7 tons. It's got 5,000 LED lights in it. And the day that we put the cross up is a day I'll never forget in this city, my career in the city. As Joe brought the cranes up and they had to weld the cross together at the top of the mountain because there was no streets wide enough to get it up there. And when we finally got the cross welded and ready to be stood upright and put into the foundation, it was 100 yards of concrete, and all the traffic on 84 and Route 8 stopped, which was not our intention. But they saw the cross going up, stopped. All the truckers started blowing their horns, people got out of their cars, people were praying, people were celebrating. It was a magical moment in this city. And then the next night we lit the cross. We had 10,000 people downtown Waterbury, and it was quite amazing to see the reaction of everyone when the cross was lit. And it really brought this community together in an amazing way. And I'll always be grateful. And you know, we talk about what's important. You know, one of the things that's most important to all of us here are our students. Whether it's grammar school, middle school, or high school students, and now, you know, we're really focusing with Redenka and Fumiko on post-secondary education and this campus and the opportunities that these students have coming to this campus. And we have made it our life's mission, and my coach, of course, Tom Ritter, and I have tried to figure out different things to do and different ways to get things done. 36 North Main Street, and by the way, I'm thankful to Joe Gramando and Green Hub. That's really nice to have my name on that building. I think we better put extra cameras on that building. But at the end of the day, we would have never been able to accomplish that goal without the help of course, of the governor and Tom and Redenka and Fumiko. The building's going to be really special. It's an iconic building in downtown Waterbury. It's on the National Historic Society. We wanted something really meaningful in that building, something more than other things that have been proposed, and I can't think of a better place to educate our students than in that building. And we're growing out of this campus, and it's gonna fit nicely into our program. And I'm really honored about that. And I just can't say enough good things about every single person who is here tonight. You know, I have been, my family has been blessed to serve this city. And I mean that. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I really do. I can't tell you what it means to go home at night and feeling the way that we feel around the dinner table or talking about the work that we did that day or that week or that month. And it's all about collaboration. It's all about love and commitment to the city. It's all about what's important to all of us, our families. You know, this is a great city. It's amongst the most diverse city in New England. We welcome with open arms our first generation families and our first generation college students. And we thought the next best thing to do, right, Tom, would be to start a Waterbury Promise program. So we studied the Hartford Promise program. Thank God for Richard Sugarman. Without Richard, I don't think we would have gotten ours off the ground quite as quick as we did and as successfully as we did. And also, you know, it has made such a difference in the opportunities that we can give to our students, particularly our students who are, you know, struggling, first generation students, or just they and their siblings and their families are finding their way. And then the University of Connecticut did something really amazing. They matched the Promise program. So every one of these students here who is a Promise scholar not only gets the Waterbury Promise scholarship money for the 4 years that they're in college, they also get $5,000 per student per year from the University of Connecticut. $5,000 on top of the Promise. Nathan First is here from UConn. We had a lot of discussions, and when Nathan called me that day and told me what UConn was doing, I will tell you, you know, I'm kind of a rough and tough guy. I had a lot of tears in my eyes. That was amazing, because that makes the difference. So if you take $10,000 and give it to a student, and most of our students live in Waterbury or in the greater Waterbury area. We do have dormitories across the street that are full, by the way. But $10,000 will get them to where they need to be in their first and second year and as we move forward. And that is the things that matter to us, right? To make sure that our students are getting the education they need from pre-K all the way up through 12, and now with the Promise program, we're giving every student an opportunity, hope, to be able to engage in post-secondary education. And to me, you want to do something and feel really great, come to this campus during the day and take a look at these students over here who are well represented tonight. You will leave here feeling really good about what's happening here at Waterbury, UConn. And so Tom and I have had an idea recently. It's really, my mentor brought up a good point, and I said, Tom, we've got these great kids and they're all doing really well. And, but a couple things we've learned, right, with bringing all these new students into Waterbury, UConn over the last 2 years, particularly last year. A lot of our students, right, have just arrived from whatever country that they're arriving from with their families, and some of them still have the issues that a lot of first-generation immigrants have. And of course, Rebecca mentioned that she is an immigrant herself. All four of my grandparents are as well, from Ireland. But everyone comes here, and it's an adjustment, it's a transition. We get them into the school system, and then the students who really are motivated end up making their way to UConn or any other college or university. But some of them still struggle greatly because they're not in a financial position, even with what we're providing for some things, not everything. But there is some food insecurity, so you heard about the $5 meals we're doing here. There's really some clothing insecurities, honestly. Some of these kids, honestly, probably wear the same clothes for a couple days in a row and then maybe have another change of clothes for the middle of the week. Those are things to pay attention to. Transportation-related issues, housing-related issues, sometimes not. But Tom and I, Tom mostly, thought of this other program, and before you run out the door, is I'm so proud and grateful for all the support that you've given for this transition program. So this program, what all of you are supporting here tonight, is the urban students. Let's be honest, right? Urban students struggle a little more than our suburban students do. There's a lot of reasons for that. Language barriers, different backgrounds, how they arrive here, but they do. And so Nathan and I and Tom are talking, and Nathan said, we need to support these urban students a little bit more. And that's how the idea with talking with Rebecca and Fumiko was born about starting this mentorship program. So when these students get here, we can do the after-school homework havens, or we can do the tutoring and mentoring that's possible, and have the people available to do that, because we don't want these kids to fail. We won't let them. We will not let them. We will do everything in our power to make sure that they are brought up. You hear about the achievement gap. The achievement gap is real. It really is. So kids in urban environments, there is a big gap between the urban child and the suburban or rural child in many cases. So we are closing that gap by making sure that these children and these students are successful. There's one other thing that we thought of that might add to that success. And this is not a hard ask. This is Neil asking you to think about how we could help these children. So with all the things that we talked about that these students still continue to struggle with, and don't forget, a lot of these students they leave here and they have to go to work somewhere because they're helping support their families. But if all of you who are here tonight, which is our entire business community in Waterbury and Greater Waterbury, think a little bit about this. These students are driven, they're motivated, they're bright, they want to succeed, Their family members are so proud of them because they're the first student in their family to go to college in many cases. When we have the opening day here, there's tears everywhere. Just think about ways that we might be able to help them. And if you're interested in helping them because you own a business or you know someone who owns a business, you know, there's a lot of job openings out there. These students will provide or will do internship programs. They will do apprenticeship programs. And guess what? I have on my staff five students who graduated from UConn on my staff, on my immediate staff, and at Naugatuck Valley COG that I chair, we have 7. These students want to be successful and they want to give back to their communities. So I put an invitation out there to anyone, and you don't have to own a business. You may have an idea that may help a child along. You may be interested in adopting UConn student or a college student. You may be interested in maybe helping them with food insecurity or a jacket or a warm pair of gloves or anything. If you are interested, Allie is over there at the entrance, and she's a UConn graduate, by the way, one of them, with a master's degree as well. But I think it would be nice, and I can tell you there will be no more rewarding feeling than to help a student success in post-secondary education. And trust me, they will never, ever forget you. They won't, because they know, they're driven, they're motivated, they know how to get into this college. They did what they needed to do. They achieved the academic success to get here. Trust me, they are the future, not only of Waterbury, they are the future of the state. And by the way, they're the future of this country. We need these children we need to give them every opportunity they can. So, I think I said enough about that for now, Tom. What do you think? At the end of the day, if you're interested, let us know. Sign up with Allie, and we'll talk about it some more. This is all brand new. This is very fluid, but let me tell you, this to me is exciting. It's an exciting opportunity for all of us to recognize these great kids over here who are working so hard to better themselves and their families and their city and their state. Having said all of that, I am obviously nervous. You know, my kids tease me all the time, Dad, you only really ever had 2 jobs. You know, you're a policeman for 32 years and a mayor. What are you gonna do? I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm sure looking forward to serving on the UConn President's Advisory Committee. I'm grateful to the governor for that opportunity. I'm a huge believer in UConn. I'm a huge believer in the regional campuses at UConn. Having a lot of fun with Tom and staff to you know, figure out how we can grow the enrollment and give other students in the other urban areas opportunities as well. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to be here in Waterbury. I'm not going very far. I'm going to probably go on a couple boards to help out a little bit. But I'm just excited to spend more time with my family, more time with my community. And I'm really delighted that I have the opportunity to do so. So I am grateful to all of you. I can't even tell you, I'm looking around this room, I'm fighting back a little bit of emotion here, because I can tell you that I've had the most rewarding life thus far serving this community and this state and trying to do things the right way to get things done for the betterment of the folks who are going to follow in our footsteps. Thank you all. I love you. Thank you. God bless you.
You know, we want to thank you for letting all of us collectively have this recognition event for you, and for choosing such a wonderful initiative for us to be able to support in your honor. Very much appreciate it. Thank you. And we knew that we wouldn't be able to encapsulate all of your accomplishments in a short period of time, and so our friends at Works, particularly Grant Copeland, has authorized and created a docuseries, like the kind you see on Netflix, which is a three-part series of about 20 minutes apiece that will be showing on YouTube and on Waterbury.com. There's also a hard copy version which is out in the lobby, and I would encourage you to take a look at that because the proceeds from the hard copy version will go to support the Police Activity League. And Kathy and I will be at the front of the line, and I hope you will be as well to acquire it. But if you just give me one moment for a couple of program notes. One is, I want to be sure on behalf of Kathy and me to recognize the city team, UConn, and the UConn Foundation for the great work they did collaboratively. They gave new meaning to what town-gown relationship is supposed to be all about, and we really deeply appreciate that. I also want to acknowledge Al Bagnini and Power Station for the setup and the sound, and the Works Group for their fabulous creativity and all the things that they've done to help this event be successful, and to Chef Chris DeLuca and Kathy Gaetani from Sunset Grill for putting on a great show for us here, a great being here tonight. With that, I want to say a final word to Neil. A final word to Neil, which is that, Neil, you have had a really good day today. You got promoted to governor. You had a building named in your honor. You had over $400,000 raised for the special fund for UConn. And now you even have your own docuseries. But as Kathy said, Neil, we're not going to let you go far. And all of us here today will be locked arm in arm with you to continue the great work that you've done for this community over more than 40 years. So thank you for all that you've done for all of us. We deeply appreciate it. And thank all of you for being here tonight and for supporting this event and the Student Success Fund. Enjoy a few more minutes together.